Okay, what if I told you that the solution to a really common modern problem, I'm talking about milk allergies, isn't some newfangled lab creation, but a remedy that's literally thousands of years old? Well, today, we're diving into a superfood that was prized by ancient civilizations and is now getting a huge second look from science: donkey milk. So let's start with a really simple question. Have you ever known someone, maybe a kid in your family, or even yourself, who just can't handle cow's milk? You know, that bloating, the discomfort, or maybe even a serious allergy? Yeah, it's a way bigger deal than you might think. For so many infants and even adults, a milk protein allergy turns what should be a healthy staple into a real source of trouble. But here's the twist. What if the answer wasn't something new at all? What if it was an alternative that people like ancient civilizations swore by, and that we're only just now catching up to with modern science? This is where things get really interesting. We're about to unveil a truly surprising solution. Let's dig into the science behind this age-old remedy that's suddenly in the spotlight. And trust me, this is anything but a new fad. If you look back, ancient texts are just filled with mentions of donkey milk's therapeutic uses for all kinds of illnesses. For centuries, people knew it had something special, long before we had the tools to figure out why. And that's exactly where we are today. Science is finally catching up, and we're rediscovering the secrets that make this ancient drink so powerful. So, what's the big secret? Well, it really comes down to this: its incredible, almost unbelievable similarity to human milk. So why is it considered a near-perfect twin? Okay, just look at this table. The numbers really tell the story. Zero in on that top line for protein. See how donkey milk and human milk are both naturally low in protein? And then look at lactose. Both are high. Now compare that to cow's milk, which is way higher in protein. This is our first major clue. But it's not just about the amount of protein, it's the type. Think of it this way. Milk protein comes in two main flavors. You got casein, which is heavy, forms thick curds, and is often the bad guy in allergy stories. And then you have whey, which is much lighter, gentler, and easier to digest. And this chart, wow, this makes it crystal clear. Cow's milk is just dominated by that heavy casein, right? About 80%. But look at donkey milk and human milk. It's a much more balanced 50-50 split. This right here, the structural difference, is the absolute game changer. So the bottom line is pretty simple. Because of that unique protein makeup, donkey milk is just naturally gentler on our systems, especially for babies, and it's far less likely to cause an allergic reaction. But the story doesn't stop there. Not even close. We've talked about what makes it easy to digest, but now let's get into the hidden benefits that make this stuff more than just milk. All right, get ready for this, because this fact is just incredible. Donkey milk is absolutely packed with something called lysozyme. It's a natural antimicrobial enzyme, basically a built-in defense system. How much? A staggering 1.5 grams per liter. To put that in perspective, that is over 1,000 times more than what's in cow's milk. 1,000 times! And that's just one piece of the puzzle. Being easy on the stomach is great, but research is pointing to a whole host of other potential benefits. We're talking about antimicrobial and antioxidant power, anti-inflammatory properties, and even something called immunomodulating activities, which is a fancy way of saying it can help keep your immune system in balance. It's a true functional food. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. This stuff sounds amazing. Why isn't it in every single grocery store? And that is a great question. Let's talk about the rarity factor. First off, there is the price tag. Oof. In Europe, you can expect to pay between 12 and 16 euros for a single liter. That's some seriously premium milk. And there's a very simple reason why. This chart explains everything. Just look at the insane difference in how much milk they produce. A single dairy cow makes over 50 times more milk than a donkey. It's not even in the same ballpark. So when the supply is that low, of course the price is going to be high. It's just simple economics. And then there are the tech problems. Hey, remember that low casein content that makes it so gentle and digestible? Well, that exact same quality makes it a real headache for making things like hard cheese. The proteins just don't clump together in the right way. But you know what? Challenges just inspire innovation. And that's exactly what's happening. Those hurdles aren't stopping progress, they're fueling it. So let's look at the future, where this ancient secret is getting a very modern makeover. And you can see that interest is absolutely exploding. The global market is on track to more than double in just a few years. That's a huge signal that both consumers and the food industry are finally taking this superfood seriously. This is where it gets really cool. To get around those challenges we talked about, scientists are getting super creative. They're developing all sorts of new products, probiotic drinks, kefir, even special soft cheeses using new methods. Ice cream, and maybe most importantly, shelf-stable milk powder that can make it accessible to way more people. So, that leaves us with one final thought. Is donkey milk just an ancient remedy making a comeback, or are we actually looking at the blueprint for a superfood of the future? When you think about how it combines thousands of years of human use with brand new science, it really seems like the answer might be it's both.